So let's go ahead and start our guided breathing work. So let's just close our eyes, take a deep breath in, start to check in with your body, your emotions, feeling from the lungs, bottom up, and then top down. And as we check in, we're just identifying first emotional responses that we're having, checking in with our thoughts, just noticing what's there. We're going to do some what we call somatic or limbic work here. So we're just going to identify one painful thought or one painful memory we might have. And we're just going to go and we're going to visit that particular time in our life. Just pick any time, any painful thing that you might not have ever really debriefed or went into. And I just want you to go there as your current self. And I want you just to talk with your younger self. Just let them know that it's going to be okay. Show them compassion. Tell them that they're going to make it through this time. And then just picture a mentor, picture unconditional love, or picture God coming into the picture. Just picture them taking away any painful memory, any painful thing that's been plaguing your life or been kind of a nuisance to your subconscious. And then just imagine this part of yourself and this helper coming into your heart and kind of coming back into your current state of being, closing out this loop in our past or in our subconscious. And now as we're breathing, we're going to check in with our body. Today we're going to spend most of our time just scanning into our cervical spine. So I just want you to breathe into there, to your neck. Okay, we had a lot of people with neck problems this last week and reaching out to me about neck stuff. So we're going to kind of dive into that. So as we breathe and we check in with our neck, we're going to take a benchmark, okay? And we're just going to look at the different ranges of motion and how they are, like how things are going inside of our neck. Is it looking at different ranges of motion and if there are limitations in one side versus the other? So the first thing we're going to look at is flexion and extension of the neck. So as we focus on our breathing, we are going to flex our neck forward and back. Just a couple reps here, and I want you to make observations as you do this. Notice how your neck is feeling. Is it more limited in flexion than extension or vice versa? Okay. Do you feel any impingement in your cervical spine? Okay, I want you just to take a moment to write down or make a mental note So try it if you have your phone or a notepad, just make a note. We're checking into the flexion and extension of our cervical spine. Okay. Then we're going to go into lateral flexion. So we're going to go side to side with our neck. Notice how one side moves maybe differently than the other. Okay, these are good observations to make. So take a moment, if you need to, write down the difference between the right and the left side. You got a pen and a piece of paper with you. If you don't, try to bring it to next session so you can make these observations. Okay, then we're going to look at rotation. Okay, so we're going to look to the right and the left, working in the transverse plane of our cervical. Okay, really identify what's going on in each range of motion. Okay, so those are the three cardinal directions that your neck moves in. And then we have translation. Okay, translation touches on all three of those planes: flexion, extension, rotation, lateral movement, and transverse sagittal and frontal plane. Translation works on all of those. So now we're going to translate side to side right here. Okay, you may notice that there is a little bit of an arcing movement at the top of my forehead. Okay, that's because whenever you pass over the fulcrum of the cervical, between the thoracic and the cervical region, the length changes, so it causes a slight arc. But we are trying to keep those eyes on the horizon and eyes neutral. Okay, so we don't want to see a huge deviation side to side. Okay, and just notice how you can move. Let's keep that up. Now let's go forward and back. Okay, these motions are going to be very challenging for some of us because we don't do this type of range of motion work, especially in translation, a lot. So this is something, guys, whenever your neck gets stiff from working all day, you want to come back and revisit. Okay, let's make it into a circle. So we're going to glide to the side, glide forward, glide side, glide back. Okay. We're just going to kind of glide and circle in here, feeling that nice rotation. Okay, imagine that we are really just coating this neck with synovial fluid. We're just trying to edge off all the jagged motions of this movement and make it more and more smooth. Let's go the other direction. Keep your breathing. Okay. If you're sitting down, it might be best for you to stand. I'm going to go ahead and stand up on this next sequence, just because you can get a little bit more range of motion and activation into this cervical whenever you do this. So let's go ahead and rotate to the side, extend out and back. And just work on breathing and connecting here. Okay, now we're going to glide side to side. And that rotation. Okay. Okay, now let's go ahead into full circle. So forward, side, back, side, all the way through. Job, other direction. Okay, let's go to the other side. Same thing, just forward and back. You may even notice a little bit of heat in your neck, okay? That's all right. We're causing a little bit of friction, but then that's eliciting that synovial fluid response in there, coating that neck side to side. All right, now full rotation. So forward, side, back, side. Again, guys, we are knocking off the edges of this circle. So making it smoother and smoother. Other direction. That up. All right, so now we are going to retest our flexion extension, lateral flexion, lateral extension. So right here, we're going to add the translation note and see how this changes our test, okay? So we're going to translate forward, drop the chin, lift up, translate back, extend. Forward, down, back, extend. Forward, down, back, extend. Forward, down, back, extend. Keep that up a couple reps right there. Just notice the difference. Okay, now we're gonna glide. We're gonna add the side glide. So we're gonna go side, flex, up, glide to the side, flex, up. Okay, so just a nice smooth motion. Notice how it's changed the range of motion and balanced out the cervical spine, so that way maybe you now have more access or more balance on both of these flexions of the lateral cervical. Okay, so now we're going to check our rotation, see how that's changed. Now we aren't going to add any translation to this just because of the facets in the cervical spine. It causes the range of motion not to be able to translate as well, because those facets in there kind of block the articulations from certain movements. So that's why you don't have rotation with translation. So we're just going to rotate side to side and just check and retest that rotation to see if you got more range of motion. Just gonna rotate, feel, how is my neck opening up? How is it responding to incorporating extra motion into your neck? Okay, just make mental notes of this. Okay, so now we are going to combine the sagittal motion with the coronal plane, and this is going to work on our vestibular ocular system, reflex, okay? So now we're going to glide forward, drop the chin, and rotate. So we got a forward glide with rotation in flexion. Side, rotate, rotate. Keep that up a couple reps, guys. Check out y'all's look, there you go. Good. So guys, we're not lifting up our chin. Just stay in that flexion and rotate. Don't lift up right now. Just keep rotating with that flexion and then forward. I'll show you from the side. Forward translation, side to side. So we'll start lifting our chin here. Okay, keep that up. Guys, try to keep your eyes neutral, okay? This is going to work that vestibular ocular reflex, okay? This is something we need to work on for our stability, okay? Okay, now we're gonna glide back and look up, rotations, side to side. So let me check everybody's. Looking good, guys. Move smooth through that. Work on your breathing, okay? Make sure that you're going to your range of motion, but you're not pushing into pain. You're not forcing it. You're just slightly trying to increase a little bit more and more. So next thing we're going to work on is the figure 8 motion of this, okay? So glide forward, down, rotate, glide back, up, rotate the other side, drop chin, glide forward, drop chin, rotate, glide back, look up, rotate, glide forward, drop, rotate, glide back, extend, rotate. Okay, guys? So you just want to make this into a smooth figure 8. I know it's a challenging movement. It's okay if you don't get it all right at the beginning. This is an experimental movement, actually. So the more you do it, the smoother it'll get, the better you will become at it, the stronger your neck and cervical spine will get, okay? So keep that up and look at everybody's movement. Guys are looking actually really good. So some of you guys are just moving your head in a circle like this. That's not what we're doing, okay? We gotta add those glides. So we gotta keep the translation going. So just make sure you're translating back, looking up, and then whenever you rotate forward, you're translating forward, looking down, rotate, translate back, look up, rotate, translate forward, look down. So add the rotation, the translation into there. Also, guys, some of you guys have your eyes closed. Keep your eyes open. Make sure that you're trying to maintain neutral eyes, okay? So keep that up. Let me check y'all's movement over here in the class. Good. So really working that neck today. Okay. So got it kind of, yeah, keep it up, guys. It's a lot of work. We're getting more. I see you over there, guys. Some of you guys looking at the camera. Okay, keep it up. Good job. Okay, now we're gonna work orientation in the coronal plane. We're gonna add the rotations, okay? Last thing that we're gonna do with the cervical spine.
Were we supposed to go in the other direction on that or just stay?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I thought I'd ask you guys. Let's switch, go the other direction. So, forward translate down, rotate to the opposite side, back, switch, forward rotation, down, glide or rotate, glide back, extend. So talk about a neck twister here, guys. You guys are gonna either feel really loose or really sore tomorrow, okay? So next, we're gonna couple the rotation with the orientation, or we're gonna orientate our coronal plane with our transverse plane. So we're gonna add this rotation, okay? Drop down, okay? Then we're gonna translate back and extend. Translate forward, drop down, translate back, extend. So let me see y'all's movement here. Translate forward, drop down, translate back, extend. Good. Make sure where that chin is rotated. We're not looking forward. We're in rotation and we're trying to add a bit of translation in here. So we're rotating in the lateral flexion. Okay, now let's add that figure 8 into this motion. So down, up, rotate, down, up, rotate. Right here. Working these rotations of the neck. So if you just joined, we are working lateral rotation and flexion of the flexion and extension of the neck. So you're going to rotate your head over, drop your chin down, glide back, look up, rotate, glide back, come, glide forward, rotate down, back up all the way. Okay, so this is a very hard motion, guys. Something that we'll have to play with. Something that you'll probably go back and watch over in the videos, okay? So next thing we're looking at coming up. So you guys are through with phase 1. We're moving into phase 2. So looking at some of the movements in phase 2, working on pelvic tilt. So go ahead and get into a lying position here. Okay. So we've been working this motion of the pelvis, okay? Imagine that we got a pole going through our pelvis region here. Okay, ribs are pulled down. You're gonna engage your glutes. Push your low back into the ground. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax the glutes. Scoop your hips up and over that imaginary pole, but keep your ribs down, okay? We want the motion down here. You're pulling through your hip flexors, holding it there, feeling tension in the front of your hip, okay? Strengthening those, that psoas. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down and through, squeeze those glutes. Relax the hip flexors, okay? So we're working what we call your intrinsic kinetic chain, okay? This is your transverse abdominis, your psoas, your glutes, your pelvic floor muscles, okay? This is your breathing apparatus stage, okay? Everything else hinges on this, so come back up and arch. Okay, keep that up, 5-second holds, guys. I'm gonna check y'all's form here.
Yeah,
So
I'm not understanding this exercise.
the pelvic tilts.
Well, yeah, because you said, well, okay, so then it's what we've been doing before.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought you were explaining something else.
No, so
Okay.
the pelvic tilts, you're on your back.
Okay.
We're just
Yeah.
holding it in that end range of motion, 5 seconds. Okay, I just want to get this right,
But then
guys.
when we arch, we're not engaging our glutes, right?
Yeah, you're not engaging your glutes.
Okay,
You're
okay.
pulling through your hip flexors. So you're trying to get that balance of the hip flexors and the glutes. Okay. 5-second hold. Make sure we're not lifting our butt off the ground. Okay. Now engage. Squeeze right there. Now arch. Hold 5, 4, 3. Keep those ribs pulled down. There you go. 5, 4. So guys, make sure you got your hands on your ribs and you're feeling these things as you're going through that. Okay. 5-second hold. All right. Now we're going alternating glute pops. So this is where the pelvic tilts come into really, really good use, because we want your pelvis in the neutral position in order to engage our glutes. So you're actually going to let your feet just kind of fall out on this and relax. Okay, keep your low back in neutral. Ribs are pulled down. You're relaxed in your upper body, and you're just going to squeeze through your left glute. And whenever I squeeze, I want to make sure my engagement starts at my glutes, even if it's small. Okay, I don't care if I don't want to see your whole glute fire up. That means you have to push through your leg to get that full engagement. Okay, we're building pathways to be a glute dominant person. Okay, we don't want to be firing first through our hamstring or our quads. Okay, so the first motion is just squeezing that glute. If it helps, sometimes I put my hands underneath my butt so that I can feel that instant feedback that glute is firing. Okay, you're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch. 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 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we got that chest breathing this time. Okay, so we're working the upper diaphragm in this phase. Okay, so core is tight and engaged. Hands on my chest. I don't want to see my belly rise on this. Okay, so we're just working the upper quadrant of the diaphragm. So you're going to take a deep breath in just to your chest. Even expanding out into your ribs a little bit, that's fine. But I don't want to see your belly rise on this. You're going to hold for 3, 2, 1, and out. Hold. 2, 3, and in. Hold. 2, 3, and out. Hold. 2, 3, and in. So put your hands on your chest if you don't have them there. Up more, JD. There you go. Okay, so Maggie, put your hands a little bit higher on your sternum. There you go. I want to see that part rising. Keep it up, guys. 3-second holds, okay? I got you guys here for at least a minute. Okay, so keep it up. 3-second holds. You guys are doing awesome. So next thing that we're doing, working on diaphragm, lower diaphragm, okay? So now we're gonna switch it up. We're going down into the low diaphragm. So now we're not breathing We're trying to force our air into the lower quadrant, but we're also activating our core, which expands our breath work into our sides of our diaphragm and our upper diaphragm as well. So hands now on your belly. This time, as you breathe out, you're gonna purse your lips and kind of contract your core a little bit, using our hands to exfoliate some of this air out, getting deeper contraction of that lower diaphragm. You can also cough here to fill those muscles engaged and kick on. Okay, I want you to keep that active. So once you get that engaged, keep it active, then take a deep breath in, and while that's active, force the air down into that diaphragm with a little bit of resistance on it so that we can train that diaphragm to be stronger. Okay, this is going to be really important later stages when we're bracing to lift, bracing to get up and down off the ground. You know, protecting that low back from having movement on it and load. Okay, so you got to have a good diaphragm in order to protect your low back, so that way it keeps it from straining. So this is your diaphragm core brace. You can breathe with your diaphragm brace, as you can see right here. Okay, so keep that up. Let's do our 3-second pauses now. So inhale and hold 2, 3. Exhale. Hold 2, 3. Inhale. Hold 2, 3. Exhale. Hold 2, 3. Inhale. Hold 2, 3. Exhale. Hold 2, 3. So that's kind of the mind-body work. We're working that intrinsic kinetic chain at the beginning. Okay. Now we're going to go into more of practical movements with aligning joints. Okay, so stacking the joints properly. Hands behind, right here. Go ahead and get in the bed sit position. This is called your bed sit position. Okay, so hands behind. My hands are splayed out at a 45-degree angle. Okay, that's going to get a good range of motion or good activation into my shoulder blade. You're going to push up and away from the ground here. And we're just going to get long in our spine. We're just going to hold this, work on your diaphragmatic breathing in this position. So breathing down to that core, holding it for 3 seconds, and then expelling the air. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is from this position, can we start to rotate our legs down? Side to side. Work on breathing and connecting with this movement. Notice how I'm rotating over my feet. I'm not picking my feet up each time, okay? Also notice it's okay that I don't go all the way down, especially if I'm coming out of this side bend sit position. So I'm being active in my shoulders here as I rotate through. So just kind of trying to increase our range of motion each time and eventually be able to get down all the way to the ground, okay? But I got my hips flat on the ground here and I'm just working that joint, okay? This is internal, external rotation of the hip, cleaning that hip out, okay? So that's side bend sit level 2. Okay, we got a figure 4 sit. Okay, this one, shin touches the back of the calf. Okay, we're getting our low back into neutral, pulling those ribs down, and we're just going to do that diaphragmatic breath work in there. So keep that up and we'll look at everybody's form here on this one. So trying to get our shin and basically our heel to our butt and our back of our heel to our shin. There we go. Good. Now put the low back in neutral and even maybe a slight arch in that low back, Maggie. There you go, full extension. That's what I like because we want to get that center of gravity to start moving up closer. So that way we can easily get up and down out of this position. Or we can kind of, if we're sitting, we can easily sit and transition to a stand, okay? That's not for this particular phase, but if you want to try it sometimes and you feel good and you feel stacked, you can go ahead and try that. So go ahead and switch sides. So left leg, or if you were doing your left leg, switch it to your right. Okay. So pull it in there. And again, we're trying to get our center of gravity closer and closer to our surface of support, which are our feet. So that way, whenever we start working on our standing phases, that center of gravity has moved to where we can easily stand up. So work on that, couple breaths here. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is go into long sit, level 2. So legs out, pulling my toes to my shin, my low back's in arch. I am pushing away, engaging through the shoulders. I'm pulling my cervical spine into back translation. And we're breathing into the diaphragm here. We're being active with our hands, okay? I don't want to see you collapse in your shoulders here. We're pulled up and pulling our toes up, engaging through our quads here, pushing the back of our knees into the ground. Breathing through our diaphragm. Keep that up, guys. Look at our form here. Toes up. Maybe turn your hands out a little bit more towards the walls. There you go. All right, core tight. Make sure your head's not jutting forward here, okay? So kind of keep that chin tucked back. Now it's hard if you need to, you can push it forward a little bit, but we want it in optimal position, so we want that neck stacked in line with our vertebrae. Okay, let's go open sit level 1. So this one, I have you guys if you need. And actually, I find it helpful to elevate my hips if you have really tight growing. But if you can, just kind of push down and then push those knees into the ground. And you're trying to actively pull your heels into your hips, okay? So the more that you get work into this open sit position, the closer your heels come to your butt, the closer your knees move to the ground, the more active you press through the hands, the more you involve your core, okay? Because we're going to move into even one where we don't use our hands at all in later stages. Okay? The last thing that we're going to work on in movement class 3 is walking warm-up, okay? So looking at gait mechanics of the feet. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up right here. And we're just going to look at our foot mechanics, okay? So when we walk, heel to toe, so lift our toes up, outside of the foot, all the way from pinky toe to big toe. Just kind of make some circles there. Add a little bit of weight. And then when you run and move laterally, you do different mechanics. So you go toe to pinky toe outside of the foot to the heel. Okay, so you're gonna work those for later stages of our gait. Okay, so this is working on your walking gait. We're gonna do a lot of that, okay? Because there's actually 9 movements just in your walk that need to be optimized. Okay, otherwise it goes up your chain into your back and neck. Okay, lift that other foot up, outside of the foot down, pinky toe to the big toe, and back up. You can start to add a bit more weight with each rotation. Okay, now big toe down to the pinky toe, outside of the foot to the heel. Just nice, smooth. Notice if there's any pain, any tension in there. You can work on that. Okay, now what I want you to do is pull your kneecap up. Okay, your weight's on your heel, okay? But I want to keep this knee protected because we're going to work the cuboid and the navicle. Okay, right here, in and out. So working that lateral, but we're rolling over the calcaneus, okay? So we've got to keep this knee compact because when we roll over that calcaneus, if we have this knee loose, that's one more thing that your body has to account for, okay? And then we don't get that good warm up in the foot, and the outside edges. Okay, let's get our knee compacted, lift our heel off the ground, work that cuboid, the lateral part, these lateral metatarsals, your 5th metatarsal here, just working in and out of there. Work on breathing, connecting with that outside edge of the foot. Okay, so this is actually associated with your hip flexor. Your hip flexor fires your lateral stability of your lateral metatarsals. Okay, so you're actually firing through your hip flexor into your lateral edge of your foot, and we're switching sides. Other side, lift up that heel, compact the knee, small pulses in there, just building that stability for your walking mechanics. Okay. So I don't actually include all of these movements in the walking warm-up in your app, but you can just refer to this video. I'll put this video on there as well on those days that you do this, if you want to remember some of these movements. Let's go.
Please show us a side view.
Huh? Oh, the side view? Yeah. Side view, knee is compacted. I'm just slightly pressing outside edge of the foot. Okay, I'm not putting too much weight to where I feel pain. Okay, if you got weakness in your lateral edge, you want to be careful with these. Okay, so next thing we got is toes. Spread them apart, then clamp down, grip the ground. Okay, you're activating through your arch. So I want 30% of my weight forefoot, 30% lateral foot, 30% on the heel. I don't want any weight on the inside of the foot when I grip the ground. So shoot from side view, lifting my toes up, spreading them apart, coming down and squeezing. Really feeling that grip and activation of the arch and foot. Okay, next thing we're going to do is work on toe mobility. So you're going to bring your toe back and you're just going to roll over the top of it and back. And you're kind of just pushing that toe into the ground, but I'm keeping most of my weight on this stance leg. Okay, so if you need to, you can grab onto a dowel rod or a wall, but just rolling over that toe, taking it through that full range of motion. And then let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Over, press it in, and then back. Feel that full range of motion on the big toe, taking care of our foot. Okay, so walk it out a little bit. Let's move side to side on the edges of those feet. Just feeling that nice smooth motion. And then we're gonna add a dip. So we're gonna come, rotate. I'm on inside edge of my left foot, outside edge of my right foot. I'm gonna bend my knees, rotate over and through and extend. So just make some nice circles here. Straight from the side. So I come to the outside, inside edge of one foot, outside edge, I dip my knees, rotate through and back. Okay, let's go the other direction here. Okay, next thing I want to work is cuboids, okay, and navicular. So I'm going to come up onto the ball of our foot. If you need to, you can grab onto something. We're just going to rotate our knees to one direction, our heels to the other direction. It's okay if you feel like you need some, you can grab onto a wall. You feel like you're going to fall. This is a very complicated movement here to balance and to work mobility. Straight from the side view, lifting up, side to side rotations. Okay, let's go foot circles right here. So you got the flexion and extension of the foot, plantar flexion, plantar extension, or dorsiflexion. And then you have the lateral rotation. It's kind of like a diagonal swoop, and then the other side. Okay, and then you put it all together, you make a big circle. So those are just some tools for you with your foot. If you want to work on your gait mechanics, this will fix your walking mechanics. It'll help you kind of start to get more in tune with your gait. Switch sides. Let's go dorsiflexion and extension. So just push, pull. Sorry, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. And then full rotations. And then the other way. All right, so we got about 5 minutes. The last thing I'm going to show you is the hip activation stretch, okay, for the end of the workout, and the QL stretch, okay. So you're going to drop to your knees into a lunge right here, okay. So in this position, I'm going to create pressure in my hip flexors, okay. The way that I do that is that I press down in this front foot and I try to drag it back. I press down on this back knee and I try to drive it forward, okay. I also keep my low back in a rounded position and keep that glute engaged, okay. I don't want to arch in this position like this because then I lose the stretch of the psoas. So you got to keep that back in that posterior tilt. And that glute pop, okay? So glute pop, posterior tilt. I got that rotation, that pull of the heel back and that knee trying to pull forward. Obviously, they stay stationary, so they don't move. That keeps the tension on the hip. Okay, you're gonna hold this for 30 seconds or 60 seconds, depending on if you do the short or the long version. Okay, and really feel that hip fire up and isolate it. Okay, switch sides. Other side, same thing. Again, I'm putting some pressure down into the ground with this front leg, and I'm trying to pull it back. Putting this back knee down to the ground and trying to pull it forward. I'm keeping this pelvis in the posterior position and that glute fire. And I'm feeling that almost like trying to scissor and cut the ground with my legs. So scissor that back knee forward and scissor that front foot back. Okay, let's come into the open sit position right here. Okay, heels come in, my knees come to the ground, and then I'm going to turn my chest towards one side and I'm going to press away. Okay, and I'm going to feel the stretch in the low back. Couple breaths here. And then the other side, same thing. Press away. And hold. All right, last 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and take some deep breaths. Close our eyes. Just connect with your body. Breathe into your neck. Notice how it's feeling now compared to at the beginning of the class. Notice how your emotions are feeling from where you started at the class, your thoughts. Are you more present? Are you more mindful? That's the goal of these movements and this practice. All right, let's go ahead and open up our eyes. And if some people want to share, you can. Otherwise, it's about 9, it's almost 9:30. So if you need to go, you can. If you want to stick around, I was going to kind of show you how to flow those things that we practiced put those into a flow. And I'll record it so that way you can have it on the app as well. If you do need to go. But if you want to share, now's the time to share.
I have to go. Could you put the flow as a separate workout?
Yeah, I could probably, I could just record it and put it into a separate thing. That'd be cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Great work today, Maggie.
Thanks. See ya.
See ya. JD, how you feeling, man?
Good.
How's the neck?
Better.
Good. How you feeling, Susan?
Oh, I feel weak now.
Yeah. Neck feels good?
Yeah.
That's good. So we'll do the flow real quick here together, guys. Okay. So let's just go ahead and start into the walking form up. Okay. So we're just going to do a couple of things with this. Okay. So, and we're just going to flow from one thing to the next. So I'm just going to demo the movement. I'm going to go and call it out. You guys are just going to get to these positions. So walking, warm up. Let's get a couple reps of each thing. Okay. And walk forward and back. Play with that. Okay. Let's try to go down to the ground without using our hands. Okay. And then put our arms back and sit. Couple breaths here. And then side bend sit, side to side rotations. Figure 4 sit, come up, deep breath, come back into your side, into your bend sit, other side, same thing, low back arched, get the weight over the hips. Okay, kick it out, arms back, kick out, long sit, deep breath. Into open sit, leg, knees down, deep breath. Back up, walking warm up. Do a couple of reps here, side to side. Get those dips. Get that nice motion of the foot from the toe to the pinky to the outside to the heel. Switch sides. Back down, bend, sit. Big deep breath. You can add some neck work in this if you want. Figure 4 sit. Come up, squeeze, breathe. Back to bend, sit, arms back, legs out, switch sides, come in, deep breath. Long sit, kick out, toes up. Open sit, bring your heels in as tight as you can, drive your knees to the ground, squeeze and contract. Back to walking warm up, all the way up. Okay, let's go side to side. Get a couple foot grips here. Maybe some foot circles. Other direction. Okay, switch sides, other side. Good, other side, other direction. Back to the ground, and sit. Push it down and away. Get into good position, breathe. Side bend sit, couple reps. Good job. Figure 4 sit, take it up, all the way through. Deep breath. Switch sides, other way. Deep breath. Back to bend sit. Take it out, long bend sit. That's called long sit, sorry, not long bend sit. Open sit, drive down. Bring your butt to your heels. Bring your knees into the ground and breathe. All right, guys. So that's kind of a demo of a flow. That's kind of what I try to emulate in the app. It's hard to, get the timing right and make sure that everybody can get into the proper positions, but I try to give you guys enough time to go. Even sometimes if you want to turn off that part of the app and just kind of flow from movement to movement and make it more and more graceful, that's going to help with just your movement practice and building strength and building grace between movements. Because really all movement is going from one posture to another gracefully. Okay. Got any questions or anything you want to talk about? JD?
No.
Awesome, man. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording
Okay.
and
Thank you,
we'll be
brother. See
done
ya.
for the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.